The 2025 International Film Awards had already etched themselves into memory long before the night reached its climax. Yet the moment the presenter tore open the envelope and announced, "And the best actor goes to Sam Huan," the atmosphere exploded. The grand hall quaked with thunderous cheers, flashes from cameras burst like lightning, and in that single heartbeat, years of sacrifice, perseverance, and unshakable hope converged into the most defining instant of Sam Huan's career. For a second, Sam sat motionless, his expression frozen in shock. Then, as his name echoed again across the majestic auditorium, he rose to his feet, trembling with emotion. Tears brimmed in his eyes as he embraced his colleagues, then slowly made his way toward the stage. Every step was weighted with the story of his transformation, from a boy in Scotland chasing an impossible dream to a global star admired across continents. As he reached the podium, the audience rose as one, applause swelling like a tidal wave. Meryl Streep dabbed at her eyes. Cillian Murphy gave a firm, approving nod. And in the front row sat his dearest friend and co-star, Katrina Balfe, her face glowing with pride, her gaze shimmering with unshed tears. This wasn't applause for a single role, it was a standing ovation for a decade-long odyssey. Sam's journey had never resembled a Hollywood fairy tale. He wasn't born into the industry, nor were roles ever handed to him. He was simply a boy from Balmaclellan, Scotland, far removed from the dazzle of Los Angeles. His early years were lined with rejection slips, minor roles, empty auditions, and endless anonymity. But fate shifted in 2014 when he was cast as Jamie Fraser in Outlander. That role catapulted him into worldwide recognition, yet it came with immense weight, years of grueling filming, overwhelming fan expectations, and the unrelenting pressure of sustaining an iconic character. Still, Sam endured. He gave every ounce of himself to Jamie Fraser, turning the role into one of television's most unforgettable portrayals. By 2025, as Outlander reached its final season, critics hailed his performance as his most raw, powerful, and profoundly human. But Sam wasn't done proving himself. That same year, he delivered a haunting turn as a war veteran grappling with redemption in a modest independent film. Despite its limited budget, the film earned him critical acclaim and cemented his reputation as a master of both grandeur and subtlety. Together, these roles propelled him toward the pinnacle of his craft, and the golden statue now waiting in his hands. When the applause finally dimmed, Sam clutched the trophy, his fingers trembling. His breath quavered as he spoke. "I never thought this moment would come. I was just a boy from Scotland with a dream, and tonight, you've made that dream real." The hall fell into hushed awe, his sincerity piercing through the glittering spectacle. He thanked producers, directors, and castmates who had lifted him along the way. Then his eyes found Katrina. His voice softened. "Katrina, you've been my partner in this journey since the very beginning. I could not have done this without your strength, your brilliance, your friendship." The cameras cut to Katrina, her tears glistening as she smiled with unmistakable pride. Turning back to the audience, Sam steadied himself. "And to my fans, my hooligans, you stood by me when I couldn't believe in myself. This isn't just my award. It's ours. You carried me here." The hall erupted again, many wiping away tears. Online, millions watching from around the globe lit up social media with hashtags. Hashtag Best Actor Sam Huan. Hashtag Proud Hooligans. Hashtag From Scotland to Stardom. Backstage, headlines formed instantly. Sam Huan wins big. Brings Hollywood to tears. Insiders predicted the night was only the beginning. Oscar campaigns, blockbuster offers, doors once closed now swinging wide. Yet amid all the industry buzz, what lingered was not the glitter but Sam's raw authenticity. The trembling voice, the tearful gratitude, the vulnerability that transformed an award speech into something unforgettable. As Sam exited the stage, still dabbing his eyes, the world understood it had just witnessed more than a win. It had witnessed the triumph of resilience over rejection, of unwavering belief over doubt. For Katrina Balfe, watching from the audience, the moment was doubly profound. She had walked beside Sam through every storm of Outlander, his doubts, his exhaustion, his relentless determination. Seeing him now, golden trophy in hand, she knew the world was finally seeing what she had always known. Sam Huan wasn't just a star. He was an actor of rare depth and truth. And yet, the tearful truth behind Sam's victory emerged only later, when Katrina herself spoke openly about the battles he had fought to reach that stage. In an emotional post-ceremony interview, she revealed, "People see the glamour tonight, but they don't see the struggle. I saw Sam at his lowest. I saw him fight for roles and hear no again and again. I saw him pour his heart into auditions, only to be dismissed. There were times he wondered if he even belonged in this industry." Her words peeled away the glitz to reveal a young man who had nearly given up. She remembered their earliest days on Outlander, when neither had imagined the phenomenon it would become. Sam gave his soul to Jamie Fraser. People don't realize the toll, the grueling hours, the injuries, the pressure of perfection. There were nights he could barely stand, but he never complained. He always gave everything. Perhaps most heartbreaking was her confession that Sam had once considered leaving acting altogether. "He told me he wasn't sure he could go on. He worried he'd be trapped as Jamie forever, unseen for anything else. I reminded him, you're more than one role. You have so much more to give." He didn't always believe it, but I did. Katrina became his anchor in those dark hours. And when the independent war veteran film came along, she revealed, he almost turned it down. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't a blockbuster. But Sam said, "I want to prove I can do more. I want to tell stories that matter." That role was his turning point. He lived that truth, and the world finally saw it. Her voice cracked as she recalled the awards night. "When they called his name, I cried because I knew what it had cost him. This wasn't just a victory. It was survival, proof that every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was worth it." Fans, hearing her words, shifted from celebration to reflection. Online trends turned to hashtag tearful truth, hashtag Katrina on Sam, hashtag behind the win. Stories of personal perseverance poured in, inspired by Sam's unseen struggles. His win was no longer only about a performance. It became a symbol of resilience, of refusing to surrender when the odds towered against you. "Hollywood will remember the award," Katrina concluded. "But I'll remember the journey. The tears, the pain, the sheer grit it took for him to stand on that stage. That's the truth that will never leave me." In the end, what shocked the world wasn't scandal, but humanity. Behind the golden trophy was a man who had once sat in darkness, questioning if he'd ever belong. And through Katrina's eyes, the world understood that Sam Huan's legacy was forged not just in talent, but in perseverance, humility, and unbreakable courage. As her voice trembled with emotion, Katrina sealed it in one final line. "This win is his. But the journey belongs to all of us who believed."